Hello world, what's going on? How y'all feel? So, the last time we talked, and I'm putting emphasis on we, because I got a lot of responses and a lot of love and support for the video that I made, opening up about some things in my personal life that I realized a lot of other people are dealing with too, or have dealt with in the past when it comes down to anxiety, depression, mental health, all these sorts of things, right? Just being mentally healthy. And like I said, it was so many inspiring comments, questions, vlogs, blogs, DMs that was coming in with people sharing their different stories and really just encouraging me and everybody else. So my heart goes out to everybody that has had to deal with any type of mental health situations in their lives or in the lives of their family members. As I was reading through some of the questions and the comments, I realized that in the last video, I touched briefly on some of the things that I do personally to try to overcome this whole situation. But I really didn't talk about it in detail. And I think that may be helpful for some of you out there that are looking for coping mechanisms. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a genius, I'm not a philosopher, but I do have my own experience, and it seems like sharing these things is actually part of the therapy for me. Another question also came through, and it was, is depression a choice? And that was something that I wanted to address too. So in this video, I'll talk about some of the ways and the things that I do to overcome depression on a daily basis. And we'll start off with the question that I got. And I really thought it was a good question. Is depression a choice? So my take on that is this: is depression a choice? I think almost anything is a choice, right? And to me, and don't kill me just yet, but let me give my illustration. I think dealing with a mental health problem is kind of like dealing with obesity. And the reason why I say that is because there is a lot of people who, I think my dog is dealing with depression too. A lot of people that deal with obesity, right? And or deal with just trying to lose weight. And the reason why I liken it to mental health is because, yeah, it's a choice to some degree. I mean, you're definitely gonna lose weight if you just stop eating 100% of the time, or just only drink water and eat a piece of toast or something. I mean, or whatever crazy fad diet you want to try. But how many people are really successful with that, right? Like, it's a choice, but the choice is so difficult because the effort that you have to maintain, especially for people who have some sort of chemical or biological, problem with being able to keep weight off. There's a bunch of different disorders out there that make it difficult for people to lose weight, or people's bodies store weight and fat in different ways. So, for some of us, it's really hard. And then you have some people who just naturally are just thin, right? It's nothing that they have to do to really maintain that, But if they continue in life and they never exercise and they never eat right, eventually it will catch up with them in the long run. And so it's the same to me with mental health. Some people are already prone to having a certain inclination with, depression, and they have to do a whole lot to be able to overcome it, to be able to combat that particular thing. in their lives. And sometimes it can almost seem like it's impossible, but I can assure you it's not. And I'll give you some ways that you can overcome it as well. And then some people, right, they're just naturally upbeat, naturally happy. But even those people need to take in consideration some of these tips that I'm gonna give for healthy mental living, because if they never take care of their mental health, it too can catch up with them in the long run. So what do I do? Well, one of the things is what you eat, what you put into your mouth. I'm trying to do a lot better with that. And I'm not going to give any particular diets or things like that, because that's for each person to kind of decide for themselves and pay attention to the effects that the food is having on your body. A lot of times if we eat bad things, it makes us feel down. It makes us feel sluggish. It makes us feel sad, depressed. And if you're already dealing with some things, sometimes that little temporary moment of pleasure that certain foods give us a rush of certain types of hormones and chemicals, in the long run, in a holistic way, is really not good for us. The second thing that I do is exercise. And I've kind of fell off of my routine since I've moved, because I'm not a member of the same gym that I was. But I'm starting to get back on my routine, getting up early, taking a run, taking a hike. I like to hike through nature. There's a lot of beautiful trails out here in Georgia, a beautiful lake, beautiful scenery. It just gets your mind open. The oxygen, asprana, it gets all into your system and your soul. It wakes you up. It makes you feel good. When you exercise, it also produces endorphins, right? Which are chemicals, feel-good chemicals that go to your brain and they trigger positivity, and they give you an uplifted mood. Also produces serotonin and some other things like that that are chemical receptors in your brain that can kind of help to uplift your mood. The third thing that I do is meditation. And this is just basically a practice of being still and really thinking about something that I want to accomplish, or a mood, or being positive. Watching the thoughts that I have that are negative, not holding on to them, and just kind of really quieting my mind. And it doesn't have to be a yoga, type of meditation. It doesn't have to be that. Some people actually do meditation when they cut the grass, or they're painting a picture, or they're just reading a book. Anything you can do to just clear that mental space and not just be stuck in your thoughts and your feelings, that could be a form of meditation. Even prayer, for a lot of people, could be a form of meditation. The final thing that I do, and this one is kind of like a dual thing. You have to be careful with this, but is talk therapy. Basically what I'm doing right now. I still am, used to be a poet. I used to write a lot in a journal to kind of get my words and thoughts out there when I had certain emotions that I didn't want to express in negative ways. If I felt a certain way, I would jot it down. And lately, because of time constraints, I've been doing this. I've been talking to you guys. I've been expressing myself, and that's better for me to put it in an open forum, and then I can even look back and see what I said, how I said it, what kind of frame of mind I was in. It's just better for me than sitting on someone's couch being asked questions, just to express myself in a creative way. So, the other thing I do want to say about this is society helps you to be depressed. Yeah. Just like they kind of help people to be obese. You know, it's not really built to produce a state of homeostasis, evenness, stability. Is we're constantly in a state of stress. The news, your job, you're worried about money, problems, social media showing all these different things about other people's lives and how they so great, and you just think your life is just so horrible. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. And I think I realized that in my journey, I kind of want to change that. I mean, I can't change the world, but I can try to at least change myself, and in changing myself, be a part of the bigger change that I think that we all need, which is healing each other. We connected in a lot of ways that I really don't think we even realize. But being in support of one another, we all we got. And not allowing the big machine and those who support it to constantly feed us images nonstop that make us feel down, make us feel sad, inadequate, insecure, and then we just keep mimicking these behaviors over and over again. And we do it to our children, we do it to our friends, we do it to ourselves, and they do it to us. So somebody has to stop the cycle, break it. And I think we're living in an age in which that exact thing is happening. A lot of people are waking up and they're realizing that our consciousness, what we're aware of, our awareness, is the single most important resource that all human beings have. And this journey started to develop for me personally because I was very interested in my spiritual health. The things that are unseen, things inside, things that are connected to God. And I realized that your spiritual health is connected to your mental health. And if your mind is not right, your spirit is not going to be right. And that's a whole nother topic on its own, and maybe I'll do that in the future. But I think it's a lot of things in society, in religion, in government, in business that all rip the spiritual side of our being away from us. And it's almost like there's a force or an intention that's being promoted that people want you to forget who you really are entirely. They just want you to forget that you are a spiritual person and that taking care of yourself spiritually is one of the greatest things that you can do. And I don't even think a lot of people even know what real spirituality even is. So maybe that's a topic for another time. And the root cause of all these things, it's more like, are you going to heal the symptom or are you going to heal the system, right? If you're going to just practice on a particular symptom that you have, and this is related to spiritual and mental health, then sometimes it's very hard to identify the root cause of the issue. But if you can identify the problem with the system and attack it from that level, then you'll be healing yourself in a holistic way. You won't have to focus on each and every little symptom that you have, because your whole body will heal itself. That's the way that it was designed. So to wrap up here, folks, again, is depression a choice? I don't think it's a conscious choice that we make, but I do think that it's a very difficult thing for a lot of people to overcome. But we do have the tools to overcome it. There are some things that we can do and practice on a daily basis that can start to help our routine to becoming better versions of ourselves, more healthy versions of ourselves, more conscious and more spiritual versions of ourselves. And I think it starts with some simple, basic things like what you put in your mouth, what you put in your mind, if you're exercising, and taking time for you. Oh, and don't forget, all of us, we can help one another. That's what it's all about. Peace and love. Till next time.